Cards, good week?
Yeah, well, it's a better place, isn't it, when you win football matches? I just told the lads. I thought, obviously, not the greatest of starts. Two centre halves, 5 or 10 minutes looked a little bit all over the place there. Front two causing problems. A little bit windy, a little bit swirly, but 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe not even that long ago, we would have, felt that goal a lot more, and let it affect us a lot more. But I think the way confidence can change, and results affect your confidence, and obviously that bit of belief, and it's shown. The first half I thought was very end to end. It was full of chances. I felt we had more chances first half than they did, but I thought we stood off them a little bit. And we said at half time, they played 3-5-2, so they got 8 through the middle of the pitch. We've got 6 playing what we played, and their threat was coming through the middle of the pitch. Our threat was going down the outsides, because obviously we had 2v1s. So the message was, don't step off them, step onto them, be brave, force them to kick it and get it wide when we can, and we did. And to be honest, I think anyone who's at the game will see the 3-2, and it's not I'm not that type to disrespect anyone or anything, but 3-2 is a flattering scoreline, I feel.
In that first half, like you say, it was an open and entertaining game, went both ways. Obviously Lancaster top of the league, but if someone had turned up not knowing where the two teams were, you probably would have thought that was two of the better teams playing each other. Yeah,
definitely. I think the contrast in formations made that happen and apparent. They've been flying. I think it was 11 without defeat, which is some form in this division, because you look at results each week, they've beat them, or I thought they were good when we played them, and everyone says it, and it's about consistency, and they've been the most consistent team, or albeit one of the most consistent teams, which is why they're up there. But today I felt, after the first 10 minutes, I thought we started to get ourselves into it. What chances they had, there was a couple of chances, one I think's hit the bar, but we had our own chances first half there, not only to equalise but to take the lead. Liam Brazier's had a couple, one he's hit the post with a header, one he hasn't made a good connection. Dales has had a good chance when he's gone through. Jay probably, after he's equalised, he steps onto one, you think he's going to shoot again, and he chops back. And then second half, I felt when we came out and we pushed on, I felt we were on top for long periods in that second half there, and created a number of opportunities to not only to score, but to score plenty, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, even though the game finished 3-2, they scored late on. After it got to 3-1, 75, you weren't troubled really whatsoever, were you?
No, Bailey, their skipper, he's got great quality, and I felt first half we allowed him to advance too much, which then allowed him to use that quality, whether it be from delivery on the run, or set pieces, or even his throws. His throws like a missile. But I felt second half, when we were braver and pushed right onto them, both their wing backs ended up deeper, which isolated the front two a little bit, which enabled us, when they did clear it, we were coming out with the ball, and we were starting to build, and there was a lot more play through our midfield in the second half as opposed to theirs in the first half. And I felt that was because we pushed onto them, and we were a lot higher up the pitch with the wider players, but sometimes you've got to do both sides of the game. Well, every time you've got to do both sides of the game, but I felt in being braver and stepping on that gave us a better platform to play in their half.
Rhys Daly took both his goals really well. The second one especially was an excellent goal. He's now scored 3 consecutive games, starting to show the real signs of the reason you brought him in.
Yeah, you can see it. There was a couple of times when he gets the ball in the half turn, and he's sort of in between lines, and he drives forward, and he draws people to him, but he's so smooth with the ball when he steps through, and there was one where he's done great, and he's just put his pass too close to the centre half instead of slipping Niall away, and I think, you know, I think he was on his hat-trick at that point as well, and you're thinking, you know, go on to it. But listen, you know, there's good players in there. He's not alone, but he's certainly stepped up now, and, you know, setting his standards, and as a lot of them are, which is what we've got to maintain and push beyond. Because I said after the game to the players that, you know, Chris Doyle came in and said, we make this place a fortress, lads. No one comes here and gets an easy ride. We make this place where we win, and that's how it's got to be. And, you know, I think when you've got that type of attitude and mindset within the dressing room now, it's infectious, and, you know, that gives people confidence. And the likes of Dales is, you know, is thriving at the minute, and long may it continue.
Bringing now Watson in as well has almost freed up and brought the best out of Liam Brazy. You've been able to play him on the right now, and he probably struggled in the early part of the season. He was good in pre-season, but he seems to have gone up a level and really found he seems to be growing in confidence as games go on now. Yeah, well, it's a great sight when you've got wingers sort of crossing to one another. You know, Niall's done it in the last 3 games, and gave Liam opportunities to score, and, you know, he's another one today. He probably could have had 3, and that's not being, you know, exaggerating in any ways. You know, he's had 2 headers first half, and he's had one where Jay's clipped it over the top from a free kick, and you know, he just doesn't, probably unaware of how much time he had. But, you know, I think the fact that he knows Niall wants to go on the outside and deliver helps him make his mind up. I'm going to get in the post, I'm going to get in the back post, I'm going to get in on the far post, and that's why, you know, they're both threatening now, and they're both sort of complementing a front line. Mentioned Mark Easong as well, not in the goals, but the work that he does tracking back and just putting a foot in here and there to try and win the ball back. He did that on a few occasions, wins the ball high up the field. How pleased have you been with his progress? He seems to have come on a lot since the first couple of games he played. Yeah, I think, you know, he was playing in it too when he first came in, and he looked a bit of a handful, but he, you know, as with most young footballers, you know, there's not too often that they come through academies playing in it too. You know, everything's 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. You know, so I think when you got to remember he's only 19 as well. He's got a lot to learn about the game and where to be, but, you know, his endeavour and his strength and his pace causes anyone problems, and when he puts it in with, you know, he realises where he should be positionally, he can be a real handful. I thought second half he won headers against every one of their centre halves, which you look at, and he's not the typical target man number 9, but because he has got that power to leap, you know, he's getting up, he's touching things on, but he's putting himself in the right positions. First half, I don't think he'd done it enough. He chewed the ball a little bit when he should have laid it off, but second half he was a real handful and gave us a platform to play off.
Obviously you want to keep clean sheets and you want to start again as well, but the fact you put in that performance and the result after such a bad start, does that make it that little bit more satisfying in a way, because it kind of shows that there is belief coming through that squad? Because like you say, not that long ago you may have just knuckled under in that game. Yeah,
definitely. I think you know, I was annoyed with the second goal, obviously, because it wasn't a corner, first and foremost, and that could have been. I had to go to the ref after the game and said that could have been an equaliser. You know, how many things do you want to get wrong in a game? And it wasn't about the referee, and I'm not moaning about that, because it's easy not to moan when you win, but those decisions make differences, you know. And you know, I was with the staff then, and I'm like, you know, if we win 4 there, you know, if we win 4-2, you're arguing to say we could have had a couple more. And that's, again, not putting anything down. That, you know, we weathered a bit of a storm first half, but you know, for parts of the first half they had to weather it. But then second half I felt we were really strong and turned it on, and that's what we've got to be. And like you just said, you know, the scoreline probably doesn't reflect the total amount of opportunities for either side, but what it does show is that we've got a goal down, and we've come back against the side who going into today's game was top of the league. And am I surprised? No, I'm not sounding arrogant, because we've got good footballers in there, and it's just a case of confidence and that belief, and that little bit of understanding of each other, because again, you know, it's new, isn't it? You know, however many games we've played now, it's still a new team. You know, it's not been together. They've got a lot of players who've been there a long time, and I'm forever saying that familiar way of playing, that understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses, and that understanding of how the manager wants you to play in the team. It's a big advantage, but we've got to forge that, and we're making good progress, but we're not getting carried away. We've just got to take belief and confidence from the last week and use it moving forward to maintain results.